Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Dave here. Thank you so much for coming by Surviving New England. I'd like to get some of your comments on anybody who watches the video. If you're the prepper type, the preparedness mindset type of person, you must have given thought to bugging out or bugging in. This has been a topic of conversation on YouTube. I've seen tons of videos, and I'm just throwing mine in the ring. It doesn't matter. I know that it's been probably beaten to death, but I'm doing it anyways. There's a lot of scenarios, emergency scenarios that could happen, that could cause you to have to leave your house or your town, flood, stuff like that. There are some scenarios that may happen that will force you to stay in your home. Maybe the National Guard or the Red Cross blocks roads off and you're stuck in your town or county or neighborhood, city. Which one do you think you're more prepared for? I've heard a lot of people say, bugging out to leave your home. That's what we're going to do. We're going to head for the mountains up in the woods. You're going to have a lot of company because there's a lot of people that feel the same way. I was in that camp kind of myself when I first started to prepare. I said, I got all kinds of gear. I'll just head up to the mountains. I got family up north, up in the mountains. And the more I started to learn about prepping and being prepared, you know, I had my bug out bag in my vehicle, and I was in that mindset that I'm just going to take off. You know, I'm not going to be in a city or a town where there's people freaking out and people are starving to death, don't have water, and they're panicking and they're going to be kicking doors down. People are going to get crazy. You imagine yourself trying to keep your family alive and what you wouldn't do to keep your family going and yourself, right? Well, you know, magnify that by how many of people may live in your county or town, city. So it's a wicked. It's like I go back and forth in my mind on that. It really, for me, it's going to depend on the situation, right? I mean, I'm sure for you as well. If I have the ability to stay in my home during an incident or a grid down, a economic collapse, something of the like, having the shelter, having the four walls, and having a roof over my head is really important. I mean, that's part of survival. Shelter is just one of the things that you need to take into consideration when you prepare for a disaster or an event like that. But leaving your home, that is a big step. I mean, that's a huge undertaking. You're going to be on the road in gridlock, depending on where you live, of course. If you live in a wooded type town, county, or whatever, you may have that luxury of staying local. But in a city, even a small city, like where I live, it's not a huge city, but it's big enough to where I don't want to be around when everybody's knocking doors down to get there, to, you know what I mean, to steal your box of Twinkies out of your kitchen because they have not prepared. There are people out there that won't prepare because their prep is coming to get us, the ones that are prepared. That's the way that some people will see that. Like, hey, listen, I got guns. I don't need to collect water and food. I'll just go get it. I'll go take it. And that mentality is going to be widespread when you think about desperation. If you got to think of what you yourself would do, and if you are generally a decent person with morals and such, you would get very desperate before you tried to steal or take someone else's stuff. But there are people that don't have morals and are generally not good people, drug addicts, convicts. I'm not saying convicts are bad people. People that have been to jail and are out there are people that change their lives around. But in a situation where it's going to be really, it's going to be every man for themselves, and you better be ready, because you're just going to be a victim. You won't last 3 days in a bad situation where ne'er-do-wells are going to want your stuff. They're going to take it. They're going to take it. And if you think too that you're going to do this by yourself, you're going to hunker in or even bug out, and you and your family are going to go out into the woods and live off the land, no, sir. Nope. I'm going to tell you right now, if you think you can just go out and fish and hunt and stuff like that, and you're just going to live nice and nice, no way. No way. You better know exactly what you're doing, have some sort of military training. You better be a great trapper. Even then, you'll have so many people out there really with the same mindset as you. It's going to be really difficult. What I do to combat that situation, what do I do? Do I stay or do I go? I prepare for both. I know that that's crazy. If you're just thinking, hey, I just started prepping and this is it's a rabbit hole, this whole prepping thing. There are so many gadgets and gear and collecting silver and gold and bullets and Bic lighters and medicines. I mean, a good point with that, when in a scenario where there's no drugstores are open, you've got people with mental disabilities, mental problems, issues, that without that medication, they're not safe to be around. Those are the kinds of people. I mean, I don't have the numbers, but I'll be damned if there ain't half the friggin' population of the planet on some kind of meds. Do you know what I mean? Some kind of psych medication. Never mind if you have a family member, say, with asthma, or a family member that needs medicine to survive. That's a nightmare that, fortunately, myself, I don't have to worry about it. My kids and my family, nobody's on medication. So, but I mean, think of it if you just had diabetes or you needed insulin or something like that. What are you going to do? You'll barter and trade. It's going to come down to barter and trading. I'm saying if this situation ever happens, and God willing, it will not, I'll never need my preps. I enjoy going out into the woods, practicing with my preps, practicing with my knife, axe, fire lighting skills, and things of the like, because I enjoy it. But so, that being said, my question to whoever watches, anybody who's going to watch this video, if you leave a comment, right? What's your plan? Are you prepared for both? Are you prepared to leave your home and prepared to bug out and head somewhere safe? I guess, and I know what you're thinking. It depends on the scenario, and that is so very true. It absolutely does. I suggest strongly to start to stockpile some items that you can barter with. You may have a family member that needs insulin. You might have 2 boxes of Bic lighters in an apocalyptic type scenario, and you need insulin. The guy with insulin would love to have that box of lighters. Just for instance, I'm saying, I know that that's picking one little thing, but stuff like that, bullets are going to be like money. I personally would never trade bullets for anything, but you can't say that unless you're in a situation where that arises. You might have someone in your party or your clan that has been shot, and you need some kind of medical attention. And there is, maybe you run into somebody that has that medical training, and they're going to say, well, what will you do for me? I got stuff I got to do. I can't just be tending to your wounded group member when I've got stuff to do. Well, if you can present them with a reward or whatever, payment, and it won't be cash, some kind of payment, that's going to be key. You just can't prepare for every scenario. I guess maybe if I was a millionaire and I could buy a bunker in every corner of the country and in different countries and stuff like that, that's different if you've got the means like that. But most people like me and you, I don't mean to group anybody together, actually. I'm saying people like me, You know, I have a good career and stuff, but I ain't spending all my money. I can't afford to go buy everything I would like to. I'd like to have 10 years of food stockpiled. Well, I can't do that. That's not realistic for someone like me. You know, a blue collar worker. I'm not going to be able to afford years of food. You know, so what I do is little by little, the past 3 years since I started this, just getting little by little, and do that. Get little things little by little and stockpile a little bit. And there's something I learned too. If you're going to stockpile canned food and stuff like that, rotate it. Don't buy Campbell's soup and put it downstairs in your basement and let it sit there for 6 or 7 years. I'm not saying it will go bad in 6 or 7 years, but I'm saying to rotate it. If that's your approach on being prepared, and you want to bug in and you want to keep your stuff in your house, in your home, rotate water, rotate canned hams and stuff like that, and Spam, and these long-term shelf items that will stay good for you for a while. That's it, guys. Leave a comment and tell me what your what your scenario is. What do you think you would do? What are you more prepared for? Are you prepared to stay, or are you prepared to go and get the heck out of Dodge when the SHTF happens, right? Thank you so much, guys, for coming by Surviving New England, and I'll definitely see you on the next one.